Hey, it's Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. Today's the 14th of March, 2018, and I have some things to say today, and I'd like to start it off with talking a little bit about the Bill of Rights, especially the First Amendment to the Bill of Rights. The First Amendment says that I have the right to free speech, and that's guaranteed to us by our Constitution, and I'm about to show you why it is so powerful. And I'd like to run a little bit of an exercise here as to demonstrate the power of the people, the power of the people. But you don't have power if you don't speak up, all right? It's essential that you speak up. You all know, I mean, most of you would probably know that some years back, the Department of Natural Resources, actually the operation was run by the Department of Ag, insisted that I get rid of all of my pigs because they insisted that my pigs were feral. And my pigs are Mangalitsa, they're not feral. And push came to shove, and I refused, and I came to you and I told you what I was doing. And I think most of you agreed with me that the state was way off, and they were. And so I still have my pigs and I'm still doing business. But I didn't share a lot of the information with you because at the time, the Attorney General of the state had put in our depositions under a gag order. And a gag order is where they're telling you if you disclose this information to your public, then we won't allow it into a court of law. So I guess I don't know how legal that is, but that's what they said. And at the time, I took the advice of the lawyer that I had, and then we didn't disclose that all to you. But I plan to do that because I think the time has come. My purpose for making this short series of videos is to bring this information to light because not all of you have the ability to have a YouTube channel where you can affect a lot of other farmers and tell them what's going on. Just so happens that I do, and I feel like if I don't bring this to your attention, then I'm not doing what I should do. All right. I mean, I have a vested interest in this country and our Constitution, and I'm going to do this. And until they take away my First Amendment right, which I think they'd like to do. I got a phone call yesterday from one of our customers. I won't tell you where it is, just because I want to. At this point, I don't need to, but it's a retail store that we've done business with for over 10 years. And they buy pork, chicken, beef from us. And they've been very faithful customers. And, you know, their community really likes us, and they've all benefited from us too. Well, this is out in Manistee, all right? And so there's a lot of people out there that know who we are, and they see the label on the product, and they say, hey, we really like Baker's Green Acres because they produce, good tasting chicken and pork, and we know that they don't use any chemicals or anything like that, so we can eat it and it's not going to harm our bodies. So they really like us. Anyway, I got a call from one of the proprietors there yesterday, and apparently an inspector from the Department of Agriculture was on a routine, I want you to remember that word, routine. They like to use that word, routine, a lot. And he was in there and took some of our chicken and some of our pork products out of the store. I was told that he didn't pay for them, but maybe he did. But what he said to the store proprietor that was so damaging was that Baker's Green Acres is under investigation, right? Now, I haven't been charged with anything, so I'm under investigation by the Department of Ag for what, right? And he also told her that he may confiscate the rest of the chicken that's there, or the rest of the products that are there. So I don't know what she has on the shelf, for dollars, but I do know that it could be in excess of several, $500. And You know, for most of us people that are out here work for a living, $500 is a lot. Maybe if you have a job working for the state Department of Agriculture, $500 is nothing. But then you put a fine on that, and it starts getting heavy really quick. So that's another reason why I think it's important for me to talk about this, is so you all understand that the predicament that we're in with the state and this, you know, this regulatory agency called the Department of Natural Resources, or the Department of Agriculture. It should be called the Department of Anti-Agriculture is what it should be, because none of them participate in agriculture. They just regulate it, you know, for the safety of the people, right? So anyway, she calls us and she says, "What's the deal?" And so my wife emailed a picture of our license to them to show them that we are operating within, you know, legal parameters as far as we know, and that we didn't sell them something that they're going to get stuck with. But, you know, if the Department of Ag goes there and confiscates that stuff, who pays for it? You know, I don't think they're going to pay for it. I think that the store owner is just going to be out of luck. Well, this is a tactic that they have used, and they continue to use. You know, it's like their main go-to tactic. They don't confront me directly. They go to my customers, and like a store owner has enough to do running the register and getting the floors swept and taking care of customers. They don't have time to deal with an issue like this, you know, that we're under investigation, so they're going to confiscate products off the shelf. See, so what it does is when the owner of that establishment is doing their ordering, they have a tendency to say, I think we'll order from someone else. And my wife and I have cultivated a relationship with these people over 10 years. And it accounts for quite a bit of the income into our home. You know, we're only trying to make a living. You know, we're not trying to get over on anybody. We're not manufacturing any illicit substances or anything like that. We're just trying to make a living raising chickens and beef and pork. I mean, like people have done in this country forever. And the term that they use, random or routine, they like to throw that out there a lot, because I did call up to the regional office and I said, "What's the story with this? I mean, what are you up to now?" And first he said he didn't want to talk to me about it. He didn't want to talk to me about it now. He just didn't want to. And I said, "Well, you know, it's your job to talk about this. I mean, you're getting a fat paycheck to run that office up there, and this is my livelihood. I think you owe me an explanation what you're up to." Finally, they said, "Well, we want to come and inspect your facility. My license is good until April 30th, 2018, right? So evidently they're getting ready not to give me another license for, you know, this next year, this coming year, or something. I don't know. They're running some sort of operation, and that's just the kind of the nature of the Department of Ag, is they always have sort of an axe to grind with me. And I think it's probably because I come out and I say things like this. And if you don't think what I'm saying is accurate, there are two people that you can check with right away. And maybe in my next video I'll put their phone numbers up so you can check with them. But it's Inspector Feisk. That's nice. Inspector Feisk, Food Inspector Feisk. And I don't know what Jim Patton's handle is, but he's just a guy in an office in Traverse City, and I guess he's been with the department for a long time. But you can check with them and see, and you'll hear the same thing from them, that it's just routine. But the inspector left there yesterday with only a couple things in his hand, and that store has a lot of things in it, you know. So for some reason, they've honed in on Baker's Green Acres, and they seem to have an agenda that they're working here. I mean, to me, it's obvious that they have an agenda, and it's to put us out of business. Because we used to have a smattering of customers all over the state of Michigan. And I can't really say that they've done this with every one of our customers, but we sure have a lot of customers that used to order from us that just don't. And there's quite a bit of fear on the part of people that have these establishments, restaurants and stuff. They're afraid of the Department of Ag because they can close their doors, with a stroke of a pen. So they're not exactly going to call me and say, hey, you know what happened here, unless they come up my driveway with a couple state police cars and issue a warrant, which I'll talk about that in my next video. I can't go much over 10 minutes anymore. Okay, it's Mark, Baker's Green Acres. Anyone can farm.